Monday to the Ungovernables, the Captain's Crew, the LFA family, McGroy Nation, coming to you live from the deep red state of Tennessee on rumble.com/LFA TV. Welcome to Ungoverned on this Monday, the 12th day of January. How about it? I'm happy to report to you that another left-wing PSYOP is failing. And you know I don't do the whole PSYOP thing all the time. It's a because there's a segment of people who believe that everything's a PSYOP, right? Where like nothing is. It's like the movie Inception. You know, this world is not real. You know, but this is actually a psychological operation. What they're trying to do in Minnesota regarding ICE and this shooting. New video shows not only is there new video that shows that Renee Good, the woman who was shot and killed by ICE, rightfully, by the way, not that we want to see her die, but the ICE agent was absolutely justified in discharging his firearm as she tried to run him over. Okay. There's new video, I guess it's either body cam or cell phone camera, some sort of footage that shows this from the perspective of the officer. So that's number one. Number two, there was also video released that shows this woman antagonizing ICE in the road for, almost 5 minutes. Quite a long time to be out there antagonizing federal law enforcement officers. The left wants this to become George Floyd 2.0. They want to destabilize things. They want to get people back out in the streets. They want there to be violence. And remember what I said last week? They want their protesters to die. And they, what? Why would they want their protesters to die? Like, why would they want people on their own side to die? That doesn't make any sense. You're just saying things. No, it makes plenty of sense. They're willing to let their supporters die if it advances their political agenda. Absolutely. Are you kidding me? There was nobody on this planet happier that George Floyd died than radical leftists. Nobody. When they heard that a black guy died in an encounter with police, they were thrilled. Just like they were thrilled about Trayvon Martin, just like they were thrilled about Freddie Gray, just like they were thrilled about Breonna Taylor, just like they were thrilled about Michael Brown. They were excited because they are the never let a crisis go to waste crowd, and they love it when minorities die at the hands of white people, especially law enforcement. I'm sorry to be this morbid this early in the morning, but it is the truth. This is a death cult that we're dealing with, and they love it when people die, period. Because they spin the death into some sort of political narrative and instrument to advance the political football. Nobody was happier that George Floyd died than the left. Nobody. You say, oh, well, they mourned him. No. They celebrated him. Remember Nancy Pelosi? Thank you, George Floyd, for giving your life for civil rights. Thank you. Thank you for dying, George. This Renee Good situation. And look, there's one thing that I'm not going to do. I saw some people doing this, not a lot of people. I'm not glad that she's dead. I'm not glad that she's dead. Do I believe the ICE officer was justified in shooting? Yes. Am I glad that it resulted in the loss of in loss of life? No. There have been fake stories being shared about her. I'm not going to do that either. Okay? There are people who are sharing like a long criminal history. It's not real. We're not going to go down that. We don't have to share fake nonsense in order to prove our point. We shouldn't have to do that. So I'm not glad that she's dead. I don't think any of us should be glad that she's dead, okay? But The officer was well within his right to pull the trigger, well within his right to defend himself. There is new video there, and there is new video of the incident, or what led up to the incident, showing that this woman wound up and was antagonizing ICE for a while before attempting to run one of the agents over. So that's it. And we'll get to that. But they want this to be George Floyd 2.0. They want this to destabilize the country. They want another summer of love. They're going to have a couple problems with that. Number one, there are a ton of videos showing that the officer was justified, and those videos are already out. If you remember back in May of 2020 with the George Floyd situation, there wasn't a lot of content that was out, and you also had a stranglehold on the flow of information, whether it was Twitter, whether it was Facebook. There wasn't a reliable parallel economy or parallel social media ecosystem that was on the internet. Now you've got Truth Social. Now you've got Rumble. Now you've got X, which is far more. It's not perfect. I get it. It's not perfect, but it is far better than it used to be. Far better than it used to be. Facebook is far better than it used to be also. Far better than it used to be. They do not have a stranglehold on the flow of information. And thanks to technology, thanks to the internet, which is a double-edged sword, it's a good thing, it's a bad thing. It's a good thing, it's a bad thing, right? Thanks to social media, thanks to independent journalists, thanks to people who are putting videos out there that are not deceptively edited, we can see that the officer was justified. So we have that new video. This is not going to be George Floyd 2.0. There's also another big problem why this won't become George Floyd 2.0. And I'm going to have to point it out because the left loves identity politics. She's not black. She's not a POC, as they would call her. Labels for minorities. That's nice, right? The left, they want to say, oh, it's equality, but you're a person of color. How is that any different than calling them a colored person? I really would like an explanation. Well, you know, there's passive language. Get out of here. You are literally calling these people colored again, okay? And it's not just blacks. It's anybody who's not white is classified as a person of color. You guys are going to accept that in the minority community? You're going to take that label and be like, yes, I'm a POC. Come on. You guys serious with this? How is that any different than saying colored people? It's the same words. It's the same words. Why not just people? That's how I look at everything. That's a person. You're black, you're a person. Not just a black person, you're a person. You're a human being first. I don't care what skin color you are. You're white, you're also a person. I'm not like, oh, look at that black guy in the supermarket. I'm like, look at that guy in the supermarket, right? That's it. The left is like, well, let's assess the ethnic makeup of these individuals and see which one. Okay, this is, how is it any different? Then back during segregation, calling anybody who is non-white a colored person. Now they're a person of color. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. That's why we're able to make funny jokes about Black Friday. Nope, it's Friday of color. Then Donald Trump, the Pirate King, gets along well with black beard. No, it's beard of color. Jack Sparrow sailed on the black pearl. No, it's the pearl of color. You know, you have these things in outer space swallowing up stars, black holes. No, it's a hole of color. Right? So this is where the left is now, and that's the second thing that's going to make this very difficult to be George Floyd 2.0 is because of how polarized they have made things regarding race. You're not seeing BLM, you're not seeing Latinos, you're not seeing people of color coming out and protesting in support of Renee Good because they don't like her because she's white. You guys did that. I bet you there's a lot of radical leftist people of color, POCs, who are happy that Renee Good is dead because she was white. That's the racial tensions that the left caused, not us. So I do not see this being George Floyd 2.0. We're going to get to some of that new video. We've got Kristi Noem on with Jake Tapper. She dismantled him. By the way, when Donald Trump, when he said march peacefully and patriotically to the Capitol, that was determined to be him inciting an insurrection.
Yeah, those are words of war.
Words of war.
Yeah.
Tim Walz literally said, we are at war with the federal government. And they're like,
but that's peaceful.
Stunning and brave. Stunning and brave. We love Elmer Fraud. Stunning and brave. Yes, we are at war. Okay. Remember a couple of weeks ago when I said there was a police chief in Minneapolis who was like, call 911 on ICE? Remember that? And I was like, this is going to set up a pretty scary situation. What if somebody calls 911 on ICE? And so now you have an armed local police force and an armed federal law enforcement force, and they're both pointing the guns at one another. Like, does that kind of sound like something as a country we went through in the 1860s? Does that kind of sound like it could be the beginning of maybe this kind of thing called like a civil war? That kind of sound like something we want to freaking avoid. I say so. We'll flash back to that because now you have Tim Walz saying that they are at war with the federal government. Oh, okay. So peacefully and patriotically is a violent insurrection. But saying you're at war with the federal government is what? Stunning and brave? Interesting. Interesting. I'm just trying to keep track of what the freaking rules are, okay? Because I like to play by the rules. But if I'm going to play by the rules, so are all of you on the radical left that are out there. So I'm just trying to, I have a fresh page on the notepad today. I'm just trying to follow rules, ? See? Rules. What are the rules? Rules? I'll underline it a couple times. What are the freaking rules? Okay? Give me the rules and don't change them tomorrow. Just give me a set of rules, and if I'm going to follow them, so are you. But if you're not going to follow them, I'm not going to follow them. You got it? What are the rules? Because they seem to change every day, and they seem to change with whoever the person is speaking. Just give me the rules. Give us all the rules. All right. Let's take a quick break, get to word from our friends over. We have so much to get to. I've also got the FDA commissioner making a stunning admission, not stunning for someone like me or many people who are big enthusiasts into the Make America Healthy Again movement, but we will get to that, trust me, because it's time to take a little victory lap for those of us who either practice a low-carb lifestyle or a high-fat lifestyle, keto, carnivore, maha, all of that. So we have all of that as well, and we will get to so much of it. There was apparently a new weapon used in the Venezuela raid. Now, I say apparently because every time I hear about this like new age technology, I always take a bit of a step back because sometimes people are just crazy. Like you had that loon who said there was last year, he blew himself up in front of Trump Tower in Las Vegas and then wrote like a suicide note that said there were gravitic propulsion drones that were chasing him around the country. And I was like, people were like, see, these gravitic propulsion. I'm like, the guy blew himself up. Now all of a sudden his word is gospel. And it was out on the Sean Ryan show and all over the place. And I was like, But this story in Venezuela, this weapon, apparently there's like this sonic weapon that was used. And there was somebody saying like they were like hit by it or something.
Like
and
a
they
sonic
never,
boom?
I don't know, like some sort of weapon that they were able, I don't know. We'll get to it in a little bit. Because it's stories like this, when there are people who are like, there's a direct energy weapon burned down Maui. And I was like, you need a Xanax and a little bit of time in the sun because you're crazy. Well, how come the houses with the blue roofs didn't get burned down? I don't know, but I don't think it's because there's a Death Star in outer space. Okay? It's not to say DEWs aren't real. I know they're experimenting with them. And the new Trump-class battleships are going to have some sort of laser-type system. But they did not burn down Maui and Los Angeles with a beam from outer space. Okay? Trust me, I'm the biggest Star Wars nerd on the planet. If there was a Death Star, I'd know about it. Okay? All right. Let's get to a word from our friends over at OFP Farms. It's OFPFarms.com, OFPFarms.com. They're making room for new seasonal products by clearing out their shelves with many items already discounted. You can enjoy savings of up to 50% by using your code Shawn, SHAWN, at checkout. You can get stuff like this Milk and Cookies Goat Kisses Lip Balm, the best lip balm on the market. It is the greatest lip balm on the market. It is good. It's made by friendly people, patriotic people, running a small business in the mountains of Northern California. OFPFarms.com, OFPFarms.com. Up to 50% off. Right now, it's a New Year's clearance event. OFPFarms.com. It's Oscar Foxtrot, PapaFarms.com. Check it out. OFPFarms.com, promo code Shawn, SHAWN, for up to 50%. That's 50% off. OFPFarms.com. OFP Farms, Oscar Foxtrot, PapaFarms.com. Promo code SHAWN for up to 50%. That's 50% off. All right. Let's get to this new video that not only shows, we don't have the video, I'm not, because this is long, and I don't feel like having long, 5-minute videos here, but Renee Good obstructed ICE for several minutes before being shot by the ICE agent after she tried to run him over in her vehicle. Surveillance footage nearby reported by CNN shows Renee Good's vehicle positioned perpendicular in the roadway moments before the shooting. Newly released video of the fatal Immigration and Customs Enforcement shooting of Renee Good shows her SUV blocking the street for several minutes before the moment she drove at a federal agent and was shot. Surveillance footage from nearby, first reported by CNN, ironically, shows Good's vehicle positioned perpendicular in the roadway moments before the shooting. At one point, a person is seen leaving her vehicle from the passenger side, and she, Renee, remains in the road until federal law enforcement arrives. This is against the law. This is against the law. Remember on Friday, we had a mother who was familiar with Renee. Oh, she died doing what was right. No, she died doing something that was illegal. Let's call it what it is. Should she be dead? I mean, there were many, many ways that she could have not have been killed, but driving your vehicle at an agent who's got his gun drawn is a great way to be killed. All right? And again, the left loves the fact that Renee Good is dead. They say that's morbid. No, it's true. Because this allowed them to put their people back in the streets. This allowed them to try and construct a narrative that ICE is killing American citizens on purpose, unprovoked. This allowed them to take the distraction and to take the attention away from the Somali fraud case in Minnesota and in Ohio and potentially in other states around the country, Washington State, California, New York, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe it's not Somali fraud in some of those other states, but it's fraud in general. This allowed them to shift the focus away from the fact that the economy is supercharged, ready to roll. This allowed them to focus attention away from the fact that I just filled up here in Tennessee for $2.12 a gallon. Gas prices are coming down like crazy, especially after the Venezuela raid. This allowed the left a huge opportunity to construct a bunch of narratives and divert attention away from some of the successes, once again, of the Trump administration. There is nobody happier that Renee Nicole Good is dead than the radical left and the Democrat Party. Nobody is happier. And by the way, if you're a radical leftist, you are a pawn in their game. They want you dead too. They will throw a party for you, not if you accomplish something while you're alive, but if you die at the hands of law enforcement, they will be incredibly happy. They love these things. They love school shootings too, because it gives them an opportunity to bang their chest, pound the table about gun control. Remember, it's not about gun control. It's just about control. Okay? They didn't want to control the spread of COVID. They wanted to control you. They don't want to control the flow of information. They want to control you. They don't want to control how many people have guns. They just want to control you. They just want control. Period. The left wants their protesters to get killed. They want their protesters to be killed by counter-protesters. They want their protesters to be killed by police officers. They want their protesters to be killed because it allows them to grandstand and dance on the graves of those protesters and fundraise on the graves of those protests. They don't care about these people. They just care that they see an opportunity that they can seize, that get a little attention, and shift focus away from things that make them look bad. And you know I'm right. That sounds a little nuts. No, it doesn't. You know I'm right. Here is, I guess this is either body cam or cell phone camera video from the shooting, from the officer's perspective, who was nearly run over by this woman in her SUV. Watch.
Get out of the car.
Oh!
Change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former fucking president. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car.
Get out of the car.
Oh!
The wife saying, "Drive, baby, drive," with the officer right in front of the vehicle, huh? Wonder if she'll be charged. I mean, she should be. Seems to be an accessory of that whole incident. Now you know why the wife is saying, I feel really bad that she lost her life, because she was the one who essentially antagonized the whole incident.
It was the blind leading the blind.
This is the blind leading the blind. You also had Renee Good's vehicle sitting perpendicular in the road. So not only could ICE not get through, but what if there was an emergency? What if there was a resident who wanted to get home? Now, just because she was breaking the law in that instance with the vehicle perpendicular in the roadway does not mean that she should be killed. But when you drive your vehicle at an ICE agent, yeah. You're asking for shots to be fired. You're asking for the worst possible outcome. They were asking her to get out of the car. She didn't get out of the car. There were like a gajillion, which isn't even a number, but it's a big number if it was a number, ways that could have gone that would have resulted in zero loss of life. And instead, she did the one thing that essentially guaranteed that she would lose her life. Here's Jake Tapper on with Kristi Noem talking about this whole situation. Watch this.
Doing a disservice to the officer by reaching a conclusion before the investigation takes place.
I haven't heard you say once what a disservice it's done for Mayor Fry to get up and to tell ICE to get the F out of his city, and AOC to stand up before she had any of the facts and call this officer a murderer. For individuals, well, call them out, Jake. Spend as much time calling them out.
Okay.
I have provided you with facts and information to back up every single word that we have said and every single part of this investigation. And if you don't like it, that's fine. But we're going to continue to do the right thing to keep the American people safe.
I know.
Jake Tapper not criticizing AOC for immediately saying the ICE agent is a murderer, or anybody on the left who are calling the ICE agent a murderer, but instead, well, how come you're exonerating the officer before an investigation? We can see the video, Jake. I just played it for you. Any reasonable person reasonable, right, which excludes the radical left, any reasonable person who watches that will go, oh my goodness, she tried to run him over. And he had to defend himself. Now, if you're not a reasonable person, then, that is what it is. I may not be able to change your mind. I probably won't be able to change your mind. And I'm not going to spend time trying to change your mind because you're a lost cause. But any reasonable person who sees the video that I just played and sees the video that we played on Friday and all that video evidence that's out there that shows that this woman, Renee Good, drove into the officer who had his firearm drawn, any reasonable person who sees that will understand why the officer pulled the trigger. This is not murder. This was not a killing in cold blood. This was a killing in self-defense that didn't have to happen. All the driver had to do, all Renee Good had to do was literally not try and kill the officer. It's not hard. I've been in many traffic stops in my life because I drive too fast. Never once, not ever, have I said, I'm going to try and kill this officer. I'm going to put this officer's life in danger right now. Never once, not ever, have I said, that's, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to run. I'm going to drive away. I've been waiting for a police chase. Come on. Here's the comment from Tim Walz. Tampon Tim Walz. You know, they're all saying now, ICE needs to get the F out of our city. Oh, they do? Hold on. We'll get to the comments from Tampon Tim Walz in a second. ICE needs to get the F out of your city. Well, maybe if your city didn't give ICE a reason to get the F in your city, they wouldn't be in your effing city. How's that sound? There's a list of violent criminal aliens arrested in Minnesota. You know, Minnesota is where all this stuff has been going on. Yeah, let's go down the list. Let's go down the list of some of these people who have been arrested, shall we? Just so we know why ICE is in their effing city. Get out of our effing city! Get out of our city! Well, again, if you didn't allow these people to seek sanctuary in your city, ICE would have no reason to be there, would they? Here are some of the individuals Democrats routinely describe as neighbors while attempting to obstruct federal law enforcement operations. From Bill Malugin on X. Sridorn Pavian, Fivan, a Laotian illegal alien convicted of strong-arm sodomy of a boy and strong-arm sodomy of a girl with a deportation order since 2018. Tu Vong, a Laotian illegal alien convicted of sexual assault and sodomy of a girl under the age of 13 and procuring a child for prostitution with a deportation order since 2006. Chang Vu, a Laotian illegal alien convicted of the strong-arm rape of a 12-year-old girl and kidnapping of a child with intent to sexually assault her with a deportation order since 2004. Guy Yang, a Laotian illegal... Why are all these people from Laos? What is going on here? A Laotian illegal alien convicted of strong-arm rape, aggravated assault with a weapon, and strangulation with a deportation order since 2012. Pao Chua Zhang, a Laotian illegal alien convicted of rape and child fondling with a deportation order since 2003. Ku Lor, a Laotian illegal alien convicted of rape with a weapon, and sexual assault with a deportation order since 1996. Hernan Cortez Valencia, a Mexican illegal alien convicted of sexual assault of a child and DUI with a deportation order since 2016. Abdir Rashid Adash Elmi, a Somalia illegal alien convicted of homicide. Gilberto Salguero Landaverde, a Salvadoran illegal alien convicted of 3 counts of homicide with a deportation order since June of 2025. Gabriel Figueroa Gama, a Mexican convicted of homicide who has been previously deported in 2002. Galuak Michael Rotagai, a Sudanese illegal alien convicted of homicide. Tai Lor, a Laotian illegal alien convicted of 2 counts of homicide with a deportation order since 2009. Mariana Siakenu, an illegal alien from Sierra Leone convicted of 2 counts of homicide with a deportation order since 2022. Aldrin Guerrero Munoz, a Mexican illegal alien convicted of homicide with a deportation order since 2015. Abdirashid Muhammad Ahmed, a Somalian illegal alien convicted of manslaughter with a deportation order since 2022. Need I go on?
You know who I think we should blame here? The Jews.
Obviously, the Jews sent them here.
I think that's obvious.
There, of course. All these Jewish people, you know, Tu Vong raped a girl before going to synagogue.
Now, I have a question, and maybe I should know the answer. What is a strong arm?
Oh, I don't know. I had never heard that terminology.
Yeah, that's
before.
the first I've actually heard of it too.
Yeah. Shui Hatu, a Burmese illegal alien convicted of negligent homicide. Guys, why is ICE in Minneapolis? Why is ICE in Minnesota? Because of that list of people that I just read to you. That very long list of very nasty people that I just read to you. You want ICE out of your city? Don't give them a reason to come into your city. As far as I'm concerned, that list of people, that all-star team of illegal alien criminals, it's a pretty damn good reason for ICE to be in your city. If those people were in my city, I would want ICE in my city.
Oh, Mark's Madness says strong arm is when a firearm is involved to control your victim.
Okay.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. Our resident Fed in the chat. There you go. Are we in Mo territory at this point in time?
Yes.
We are. Okay. So let's give a little bit of Mo. That's our hedgehog, you know? I think we're going to take a new thing. We're going to do, instead of Groundhog Day, we're going to do Hedgehog Day. If Mo sees his shadow, it's never getting warm again. All right, here we go. Let's take a quick break and get to a word from our friends over at Silent. It's slnt.com/Sean, slnt.com/SHAWN. Let's face it, guys and gals. Your phone is a tracking device. Between government agencies, big tech, corporate data brokers, even cyber criminals, everybody is fighting for a piece of your data and your digital footprint, and they don't ask. They just go on and they take it. That is why Silent exists. Silent makes Faraday gear that blocks all wireless signals, including cellular, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, RFID, and near-field communications. You know what no signal means? It means no tracking. It means no remote access. It means no breadcrumbs leading these people, these scammers, these government agencies, leading these people to your position, to where you are. That is why Silent exists. Silent uses the same technology trusted by special operations teams worldwide, used to block signals, avoid surveillance, and secure communications wherever the mission leads. And right now, that technology is available to you, so you can protect your family, so you can protect your freedom, and so you can secure your digital footprint. Just drop your phone in a Silent Faraday sleeve, and it is off the grid, completely silent and invisible to the outside world. From their backpacks to their sleeves to their crossbody, Silent's patented technology gives you total control of your privacy. Visit slnt.com/Sean to get 15% and free shipping on qualifying orders. That is Silent, slnt.com/Sean. Protect your rights, secure your data, and stay one step ahead. Silent.com, slnt.com. Silence the chaos and go silent today. It's slnt.com/Sean, slnt.com/SHAWN.
If you could put the link for that list of people maybe in the comments.
Oh, you want that link?
I see people asking for the link so they can read the list also.
There you go. Let's see here. I will copy this and drop this in the chat for you right now. Okay, let's do it. Here is the link of all the nasty people. It's an article on the Gateway Pundit right there. What is Pete Santilli saying? Pete Santilli has said here, he almost spit out his coffee because I said that I'm the biggest Star Wars fan. If there was a Death Star, I would know about it. I'm glad to know that the great Pistol Pete got a chuckle from that line. All right. Let us show you let me show you what Tim Walz said. Remember, Donald Trump, peacefully and patriotically, that was inciting an insurrection, right? That was inciting an insurrection. March peacefully and patriotically to the Capitol and let your voices be heard. Or make your voices heard, whatever the exact wording was. Peacefully and patriotically equals worst attack on our country since the Civil War. Again, it's not my rules, it's their rules. I'm just trying to follow them and play by them. Here's Tim Walz quite literally saying that Minnesota is at war with the federal government.
Well, I said this yesterday. We've never been at war with our federal government. I think in this case that the National Guard is their main mission. They have a dual mission. We're
at war with the federal government. Oh, interesting. How about this one from the Minneapolis police chief not too long ago?
Folks that are masked, that they're not sure if they're law enforcement, that they may be kidnapping people. Like, we have had those reports. I want to be clear to the community. The community should know that if you see something like that is legitimate, that you don't know if someone is law enforcement, you should call 911. And you should provide as much information as possible, because let's not forget, we very recently had tragedy in this state by someone who was purporting to be law enforcement. So please, let's be clear. That's something everyone should report, and that we will immediately respond to, and we will document, whether it's somebody's not sure if there's a kidnapping happening, somebody's not sure if that there's law enforcement present or not. And that's something else that's additional policy requirements that we are implementing, that we will document and report these types of things anytime that we hear it, and reminding our officers of their duty to intervene. So if there is anything that is, a violation of someone's human rights or civil rights, excessive force or anything like that, they absolutely have a duty to intervene as police.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So so local law enforcement is going to intervene on federal law enforcement operations because people are calling 911, and so you have both sides that are armed. Both sides may have to draw their firearms. What exactly are you asking for? What exactly are you? Because you know where that leads. It doesn't lead anywhere good. Okay? It doesn't lead to a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow with a nice little leprechaun. Oh, they're magically delicious. That's not where it leads. It leads to civil war. It doesn't lead to Lucky Charms. Okay? It doesn't lead to rainbows and butterflies and compromise. It doesn't lead to Maroon 5. Okay? It doesn't lead to anything nice. But apparently, so peacefully and patriotically, that's a declaration of war. That's the worst attack on our country since the Civil War. But saying, wow, we've never been to war with the federal government before. It's just kind of new to us. I'm a knucklehead. And then you have the Minneapolis police chief saying, oh, well, if you see people who are masked up and it looks like they're kidnapping people, you should call 911. Oh, okay. It's a great way to get people killed, or at least just make a situation far more tense than it needs to be. Unbelievable. All right, let's move on from Minnesota because there are other things going on outside of Minnesota. Like this from Zohran the Moron. This is unbelievable, but it's very believable. From Bonchi at Red State, disgusting details blow up Mamdani's praise of government-backed apartment buildings. So Zohran Mamdani, just like all these socialists, they like to point to these examples, like the guy who said Cuba is a great example of socialism working because they have a quote-unquote high literacy rate. Yeah, they don't have freedom. They barely have any food. They have no money, no quality of life. The standard of living is incredibly low. But they can read, folks. They can read, so socialism is great. That's why so many Americans are fleeing to Cuba. Oh, wait, that's not happening. That's right. That's not happening. Zohran Mamdani's reign has begun, and that means promoting his socialist wants. It also means trashing the idea of private property ownership, which we saw last week, that rent czar, whose mom has a $1.5 million house in Nashville. But we're going to reevaluate. The relationship that we have with private property. Oh, we're going to reevaluate it? Yeah, cool. Come reevaluate. You're not going to come reevaluate it in Tennessee. You can't. But yeah, I bet you to go reevaluate a billionaire's claim to their $1 billion, or $1 million compound in the state of New York. I bet you go evaluate that. Yeah, good idea. Especially if the guy's Italian. I bet you if you evaluate or reevaluate a lifelong Italian's claim to private property in New York, they're going to reevaluate what to do with you, and nobody will know about it. Okay? Be pretty interesting. You ever watch The Sopranos? You should. To be sure, here's a building. Mamdani apparently visited a dilapidated rent-controlled apartment building. The building was absolutely disgusting. You wouldn't want to live there if you had a chance, but there are consequences to placing price controls and mountains of regulations on landlords. It drains margins and makes it prohibitive to spend money on upkeep. There are also broader consequences when left-wing governance produces a city that is grossly unaffordable to live in, leaving the poorest with no choice but to reside in awful places like this building that Mamdani was talking about. So he held a press conference at a 102-unit government-backed apartment building to make the point that it works. Look, we have affordable housing here in New York City. The problem is it had 194 violations on record that essentially make it unlivable. Alexander, 49, has rented her 3-bedroom apartment since 1999, says the unit routinely lacks heat and hot water. Its bathroom and kitchen facades are crumbling and windows need to be replaced. It has more than double the dangerous Class C violations racked up at 85 Clarkson Avenue, a dilapidated, privately owned 71-unit complex in Prospect Heights, Brooklyn. Mamdani showcased 3 days earlier as a poster child for everything he believes is wrong with the city's publicly subsidized. It's backed by the government and affordable housing policy. Let me tell you what's really going on. Okay, let me tell you what their game really is here. Do socialists want you to own private property? The answer is no. Right? You will own nothing and be happy. That all sounds familiar, right? We remember that World Economic Forum. You'll own nothing and be happy. Let me tell you what the game here is and the goal here is. They're going to cap rents in New York City. Okay? In other words, they're going to make it illegal to charge more than what they say is a fair rent. But they're obviously not going to cap taxes. They're going to continue to siphon money out of the landlords' pockets. Well, what's going to wind up happening is these landlords, because their rents are capped, are not going to be able to make enough in margins, right? Profit margins to keep up these buildings, which we've seen in many examples around the city. These buildings' conditions are going to wind up deteriorating. And the government's going to come in there and say, you're not doing enough to provide adequate housing for your tenants. We're now going to seize your building. That's the game here. The game here is to make it impossible for landlords to provide a good place to live for their tenants by capping rents. And then after that happens, they're going to seize the buildings and cite, oh, look at these horrible conditions. These landlords aren't doing enough. Well, because you wouldn't let them charge enough to give them enough of a margin and a cushion to keep their buildings up. Now, I'm not saying landlords are the greatest people on earth, but I'm just telling you that's what they're looking to do. The Democrats love to create a problem to then offer the solution, right? They're like Big Pharma in that regard. They will create a problem and then they will come out and say, here's the solution, buy this from us or vote for us here. Or support this policy idea. It's the solution to the problem that we caused. It is completely, it's a total racket. It's a total racket. All right. Quick break. Let's get to a word from our friends over at goldencrestmetals.com/LFA.
Hey everybody, Jeremy Harrell here. Look, I want to talk to you a little bit about gold and silver. When I was a kid, I always wondered what Fort Knox must look like. And when I was a kid, I always envisioned that when you would walk into Fort Knox, you would see just gold everywhere, literally raining gold, kind of like what you see behind me right now. Unfortunately, as a grown-up, I don't have that kind of imagination anymore, and I don't even have that much trust that Fort Knox has the 5,000 tons of gold that we're supposed to have there. Meaning that decades ago, we went off the gold standard in this country, which took the value of our dollar down to just mere pennies. And since our federal government doesn't want to go back to a gold standard currency, then it's time to us to take matters into our own hands. Have you ever thought about buying gold and silver? Have you ever thought about taking portions of your IRA or your 401k or your nest egg or your savings and putting it into gold and silver, either all or a portion of it? Have you ever wanted to purchase silver like this in bullion or premium? I know I do. And I know I wanted to take matters back into my own hands, which is why I have worked with Golden Crest Metals to do that. GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA is going to be your go-to, absolutely transparent and trusted partner. Now, you can go to that website or you can call 888-308-4202. And what the good thing about this is they're going to guide you They're going to talk to you. They're going to guide you. They're going to give you all the answers to your questions. And there's going to be no hidden fees. It's completely transparent. No hidden fees. No pressure, no surprise markups whatsoever. Clients get to see everything before they purchase. They've even agreed to lower the minimum investment to the LFA audience in order to make sure that everybody has access to this. Free IRA storage, free insured shipping, and a full range of precious metals from gold, silver, palladium, and platinum. And if it's easier for you to just maybe click a QR code, well, guess what? We've got that available for you too. Right here, ladies and gentlemen. Click this QR code on your screen and it'll take you right there. goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. Again, goldencrestmetals.com/LFA, or call 888-308-4202 today to reach these guys. They're going to be a great partner for you, just as they have been for me, and we absolutely recommend here at LFA TV, goldencrestmetals.com/LFA.
All right, goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. Thank you. Look at the size of this hedgehog, by the way. This is bigger than Betty. Whoa.
Ooh.
All right. Whoa.
Ooh.
Scared me. All right. I want to move on to this from the FDA. I'll tell you what.
What?
For years, when I first started experimenting with keto back in 2015, 2016, I had friends, I had doctors, I had coworkers say, "You're crazy. Your body needs carbs. You're nuts." And it's not to say that all carbs are evil and everybody should avoid them at all costs, because everyone's different, okay? But my point here is that so many people, when you talk about a diet like keto, and a lot of people look at it like it's a crash diet because some people treat it that way. They use it to take off a lot of water weight quickly, which you could do. But and it is cliche to say it, it's more of a lifestyle than it is a diet, okay? And when you get really into it and you start finding those foods that you like, that, buffalo chicken wings for me, pork chops, roast beef, I've found a solution for ice cream, which is there's zero carbs in that little ice cream thing I make, which is literally just heavy cream, cocoa powder, and a couple of stevia packets, shake it up in a mason jar and let it freeze. And it tastes good enough.
I have an ice cream maker. We got to use that again.
Yeah. Yes.
We used it one time.
One time.
I've just been sitting there.
But everyone said to me, "Sean, that's dangerous. You don't know how dangerous. This keto is dangerous." Oh, okay. If keto is dangerous, then surely I would have seen some adverse effects by now. And maybe it is dangerous. I don't know. Your cholesterol, you're going to have a heart attack, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. Okay. We've been getting vindicated daily. Us low-carb keto dieters, those of you who do carnivore as well. I can't do carnivore because if I don't eat vegetables, let's just say my body has a hard time moving things along, okay? Let's just say that. Let's just say it's a little bit of a roadblock. So we need, the janitor, the wonderful janitor that is nature's broom, which is broccoli, okay?
That's right.
But this is Commissioner McCarry of the FDA. And I just want you to listen to this and understand what Big Pharma has done to you and this whole country for decades regarding our relationship with dietary fat. Now, this is not me or him telling you, go guzzle a gallon of butter, right? That's not what anyone's saying. But we were told for a long time, remember the food pyramid? Where like the bottom was all the bread and the grains and the carbohydrates, and carbs are good for you and all this. Well, not in that amount. Especially when it's ultra processed. And these simple carbs, which are almost twice as hard for your body to digest than the complex carbs. Well, listen to this from FDA Commissioner McCarry.
They suppressed the data for 16 years. 2 other large studies failed to show an association. Finally, the study trickled out in the medical literature. Nobody noticed it. Those on the low-fat group had higher rates of heart attacks. Why? Maybe because when you avoid fat, you have to pound food with carbohydrates and often ultra-processed carbohydrates stripped of fiber and chopped up, it functions like sugar. We created a generation of children with low protein, high carbohydrates, sugar addiction, and burdened with ultra-processed foods. And what did we do as a medical field? Drugged them at scale. Those days are over. We are telling people the truth about food.
And that's the truth. Now, look, when I was 13 years old, I guess it runs in my family. They found in my blood very high cholesterol. We tried low fat. We tried all this, and nothing worked. It wasn't until I started doing a very strict keto and exercise routine that I actually started to see those numbers come down into range. We've been lied to about eggs. We've been lied to about red meat. We've been lied to about dietary fat. Again, this is not me saying go out there and guzzle, Crisco. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying at all. But scientifically speaking, and I want you to understand this. This is very, very easy to understand. If I tell you that this pen is worth $9, right? And this set of Joy Reid safety glasses is worth $4. Which item would you rather be in possession of? The one that's worth $9 or the one that's worth $4? In terms of having value. Which item would you rather be in possession of? I'd rather be in possession of the one that's worth more money, that could provide more if I have to liquidate it. I would rather be in possession of the $9 pen. Okay? Now let's translate that to food. 1 gram of fat provides 9 calories. People think calories are bad. Calories are not bad. Calories are good. Too many calories are bad. 1 gram of fat provides you 9 calories, which is a unit of energy. So 1 gram of fat, 9 calories. 1 gram of carbs, 4 calories. So you need twice as much volume of carbohydrates just to get equal to 1 gram of fat. I like to compare it to, you had a bonfire, you have gasoline, you throw it on, big flames, but fast, right? And then it's gone. Or you could sustain your fire by putting a big log on there and letting it slowly burn, and it winds up lasting for a much longer time and needs less maintenance, right? It's less up and down. It's more stable. When you have a healthy relationship with dietary fat, whether you're eating red meat, whether you're having eggs, whether you're having MCT oils and coconut oils and things like that, you will find yourself eating less because you're taking in more of that nutrition that's providing you more energy. You will feel fuller faster. Now, I'm not sitting here saying keto is for everybody. I know people who've done well have not done well. For me, it's my favorite diet. It's my favorite lifestyle. It's my favorite routine. Do I love me some Taco Bell and Waffle House every now and again? A little bit of pizza when I go off the rails? Sure. But I feel my best when I'm in ketosis. And by the way, I'm in ketosis this morning. I got back in 24 hours after our little hockey adventure on Thursday night. 24 hours. Okay. Boom. We're fat adapted. We're doing well. The idea that you have to avoid fat because of cholesterol, because you're going to clog your arteries because of all this, well, it's not entirely true. I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling you what diet you should do. What I'm telling you is Big Pharma created a problem, and they literally created the rise in diabetes in the United States. Because when you eat, do you know what happens when your body metabolizes carbohydrates? Do you know what it turns into? It turns into glucose. What is glucose? It's sugar. When you eat bread, it may not taste sweet, but when your body metabolizes it, it turns into blood sugar. If you eat too much, you're going to have high blood sugar, okay? When your body metabolizes fat, it turns into ketones. And it's like the primitive way that our bodies were designed. Now, we can process both. Some diets work better for some people than it does for others. I will tell you this. To all the people who said keto is dangerous, to all the people who told me that eating, having a high-fat diet, including some doctors that I went to, oh, well, you have high cholesterol, you shouldn't be eating a high-fat diet, it's gonna, to all of that, big F you to all of you, because we have been vindicated, those of us who have been practicing this low-carb, high-fat, moderate protein lifestyle for a long time. We have been vindicated. The FDA, the doctors, the medical industry, they were lying to you. Think of what they've done here. They have created a nation of obese people, and now there's a fat shot. Yeah, inject yourself with this, whatever, GLP-1 or Ozempic or Wegovy or any of these, what is it, Jardiance, right? I'm lowering my A1C, and they changed the song, which sucks too. Think of what they've done here. I urge everybody to watch the documentary, The Magic Pill. It's a little old at this point, but it explains the game. And there were games being played with your health. They saw your health as something that they could profit off of. It's like whenever time I hear dentist #1 recommended toothpaste, I'm like, that must mean the toothpaste sucks, because if the toothpaste was that good, it would put the dentist out of business. They're playing games with your health. And we're being vindicated now, those of us who swore by this lifestyle for a while. We're being vindicated every single day. Again, this is not me telling you to drink gallons of melted cheese every single day. But it's also me saying that, hey, all that talk about eggs and red meat being the devil and this horrible, it's bad for you and you're going to get, clogged arteries and all this. If you eat that and you exercise every single day, I am fairly certain that you're going to be in probably the best health that you've been in maybe 6 months to a year's worth of time. If you commit to that type of lifestyle and ditch the processed crap and ditch the heavy, you could still have carbs. You could do a balance. It's fine. But ditch the reliance on bread and sugar. Stevia can do the exact same thing. So listen, I just wanted to take a quick little victory lap there, because it bothers me seeing what people fell for or were pushed into, and now it's being shown that, oh yeah, if you had the low-fat diet, because of what it did with your triglycerides and everything, and you carbed up and carbed up and carbed up, you were more likely to have the heart attack that they said the egg eaters and the red meat eaters would have. Okay? It was all a game. It was all a game. All right. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I got to show you. Sorry. This is LFATV.us, the LFA TV store, LFATV.us, LFATV.us. Click on the LFA TV store tab right here on the LFA TV website. You can click on that store tab, you can scroll down, and you can hit the visit the store tab to see everything that there is to offer over on the LFA TV website. It's LFATV.us, 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 or JeremyHerald.com/store. Jeremy Herald's coming up next with Live from America here on LFA TV. Hit that follow button. Make sure that you hit the thumbs up button as well before we go for the day. We're back tomorrow. As President Trump says, we will never give up, we will never give in, and we will never ever surrender. And if all else fails, we'll just become ungovernable. Thank you. God bless you. God bless this one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have a great rest of your Monday. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Same time, same place, rumble.com/LFA TV at 10 a.m. Eastern time for Ungoverned. Until then, in the words of John Fetterman, good night, everybody. Bang, gavel. And thank you for your attention to this matter.